What's up, guys? Luke Rangel here, and you made it. We are on video 8 of 8 on the series of the law of intentionality. For those of you just joining us, here's a very quick recap. All the law states is you have to be intentional with your growth. In this case, we're talking about the health and wellness area of your life, losing the extra 30 pounds, putting on the extra lean muscle, whatever it may be that you want to accomplish. Even though we're extremely intentional, there's 8 things that tend to hold us back, and we call these growth gaps, meaning it's a gap keeping us from growing to the next phase of our life. The very first gap we talked about was the assumption gap. From a young age to about 20s to 30s, we're automatically growing. We're automatically getting taller. We're automatically getting stronger. We're automatically getting faster. So we don't have to put in much effort, and we keep that mindset going into our 30s, 40s, 50s. And if that is what you have done, you have realized we don't automatically grow anymore. So that may be your gap that you think is automatically going to happen for you. The next gap we talk about is the knowledge gap, meaning I want to get started, but I just don't know how. And that question of how taunts us so much that we never get started. The third gap we talked about was the timing gap. I have to wait for the right time to grow. I have to wait for the right time to work out. Life is too busy right now. I have this huge project at work, whatever it may be. That may be the reason why we're getting held back. The fourth thing we talked about was the mistake gap. I'm afraid of making mistakes, and this could go whatever reason. Maybe you're just afraid of making mistakes because you've tried this in the past. So if you make another mistake, who knows what your peers may say about you? Who knows what your family is going to say? Oh, so-and-so, they tried and they failed again. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. The only way to success is through personal mistakes. Just learn from them. After that, we talked about the perfection gap. And all that states is I have to find the best way before I start. All those wonderful type A personalities like myself, you have to have the perfect plan. Everything has to be set up perfect before you start. We usually think it's perfect timing is on a Monday, but hey, there's way too many Mondays to get started. So get started now. We talked about the inspiration gap, one of my favorite to talk about because everyone feels like they need to be motivated. Everybody's looking for the next inspiration to work out. When the matter of fact is, successful people do what unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. Meaning, I'm a personal trainer and I don't always like working out. As a matter of fact, 90% of the time, at least 90% of the time, I don't feel like working out. But you know what? I do it anyways. And that's all you have to do. And then we talk about the comparison gap, number 7. And what this states is we compare ourselves. I did this for a long time in my early 20s. I always looked at the people that were better than me. And I compared myself to them. And what happens when you compare yourselves to someone better than you? You look down at yourself, you put negative thoughts in your mind that you're just not good enough, that you will never get there. And then on the reverse side, we compare ourselves to someone lower than us. And what happens when that? We get this ego, and in both cases, stop us from growing to the next level. And then finally, number 8. Number 8 is the expectation gap. And I am a huge culprit of this one, meaning I thought it would be easier than this. I thought it would happen faster than this. And how many times in your life that you could look back, I know I have plenty in mind. So if you're anything like me, this one might hit home just as much. Where maybe we're eating perfectly healthy for 1 to 3 to a week to 2 weeks. We step on the scale, we look at ourselves, 0 change. I thought it would be easier. I thought it would happen faster than this. And because it doesn't happen as fast as we think it should, that is the reason why we stop. That is the reason why we give up. And that is the reason why it's so hard for us to start again. and all these other gaps, the 7 prior that I talked about, come back into our mind. So this is the law of intentionality. You have to be purposeful with your growth. You have to be purposeful with getting to the next level, with losing the 30 pounds, with gaining the extra muscle, with getting faster, becoming more athletic. And even though we're more intentional, there are usually those 8 gaps that tend to hold us back. The first step is awareness. Now that you are aware of your gap, now you can start growing from it. And I'm so excited to see your growth. I'm glad to be on this journey with you. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just please comment below. Luke Rangel, God bless.